Here we are.
Hi guys, how are
Rockin
you?
Wellness
Hello.
2023, and we've got the queen of the company here. Oh, this is Wayne's World and Kelly. That's Wayne. I'm Kelly. This is
Well, nice
Allison
to meet you
Luker.
guys. Nice to see you in person. Kelly, you've been a customer of mine and a friend for many, many years, and it's just nice to finally get to put a face with a voice.
It blows my mind because you're one of my oldest, dearest friends now, I think. So let me set it up first. So this is Allison Luker. Okay. She is the owner of Rockin Wellness, which is, and I mentioned it, it's one of our fake sponsors we have on the show. I drink it every morning. So here's what happened. Probably about close to 12 years ago, which turns out was right when the company was starting. Your husband, Seth, had developed this. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
2011.
Right? Yeah. So I'm driving back from hearing possibly Junk Food, the band playing in Chantilly, Virginia. I remember where I was driving from. I'm sure it's a band called Junk Food. They're absolutely fantastic out of Northern Virginia. And I've got my XM radio on, and I'm flipping through, and I hear this interview. And it's Seth, who I have no idea who Seth is, being interviewed. And he's a rocker, and he's involved with bands, and he's had some very serious health battles with cancer. And he's promoting this thing called Rockin Wellness. And I'm like, well, that sounds really interesting. I'm always looking for something because, lead to my own demise, I'm not really the healthiest eater on the planet, although I've gotten better as I'm knocking on 60 in a few days. So I'm driving down the road and listen to it like, this is fantastic, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Get home, go to bed, get up the next day, go on with my life. A few months later, my sister, Judy Kuhn Green, who I don't know if you know that name or not, because I'm not sure how long.
Of course I do.
So you know Judy.
Of course.
So Judy calls me, she goes, oh, I'm using this product, it's fantastic. And I'm like, what is it? And because Judy hasn't, like me, has not always been the healthiest person on the planet. She is now committed to turning her life around. She's probably, I'm doing the math, she's probably around 50 at the time. She doesn't look it or act it, but, and she's like, I'm going to get healthy. I'm not doing anything except for good stuff. I'm doing this Rockin Wellness, you got to try it. Boom. She probably sent me the link. Maybe she ordered it for me. I don't know. But I went on it. And I have not stopped ever since. I remember I took it. I used to chase hurricanes. I take it with my blender. I used to burn through blenders. Here's one more quick story. I would show it every once in a while. I do a little Facebook Live, and I talk about my Rockin Wellness. And I did bananas, and then I put ice cubes in it, and it'd burn out the battery or burn out the blender. So a friend of mine says, "Well, just take your bananas and put them in the freezer." I'm like, why didn't I think of that? So I take the whole banana. I didn't unpeel it.
I trying to peel it. The first time, Kelly said, don't feel bad. And I'm the girl that does smoothies.
It was freaking classic. So now I've had this blender for years since she's corrected me on how to do it. So that's sort of my background with Rockin Wellness. I've mistaken it probably 5 times in the last 11, 12 years. So there's a lot more to the story with Seth. So Allison, please shut me up and tell us a little bit about your romance with this amazing man who developed this amazing product, and you've kept a legacy going.
Well, when I met Seth in 2007, within 5 minutes of meeting me, he told me that I was the girl he was going to marry, and I thought that was the greatest pickup line ever. Fast forward, we did get married. And but also in that initial meeting, he said to me, I need to tell you something. So I said, what? And he goes, I battle cancer. And I was like taken back because it's not something that you tell somebody within an hour of meeting them. So I really had no knowledge of anyone that had cancer or really much about the disease. I never really thought about it. So I just asked him, I said, are you okay now? And he said that he was. And I said, okay, great. Here's my number. Call me. And
we're getting married and all.
I know. And so within a few months, he went for his annual scan, and it came back that the cancer had come back after him being what they call NED, which means no evidence of disease, which is what they call a hard tumor for colon cancer. and it came back positive, and it metastasized to his liver, and that he was going to need a major surgery and chemotherapy. So he had the surgery, and he had a really rough recovery. And when I was living in New York, he was from Texas, I said, I'd like you to come do everything with me in New York so I could take care of you and make sure that you're getting the very best care. And when he came back to New York, he also did a lot of research, and he realized that he was going to have to not only just go through medically what he needed to do to stay alive, but also he was going to have to change his body from the inside out. And so he started researching superfoods at the time, which was in 2008. This was going on, and nobody knew what superfoods were. If you talked about chia, they automatically go to the chia pet, those things
Right.
that
That's
sprout
what I think.
hair or plants on top of a terracotta pot. So nobody knew what anything was. And he started researching all of these ingredients, and we go and we buy them at like a Whole Foods or a nice natural market, and we sit in the kitchen and we smush them up and grind them. And he was making all these different concoctions, we used to call them, which later then became the recipe for Rockin Wellness. So during his chemotherapy, he was taking all of his superfood homemade shakes, and I was drinking them, and we were actually like onto something. And he decided that, you know what, this might be something that we could make a business out of. And during this time, he used to be in the rock and roll industry as a tour manager. And obviously with his condition, he wasn't able to get back on the road again. So he got a job working on Long Island for a major concert venue. And he used to go to work every day as a production assistant with his little baggies of chocolate mix, and he used to take it and shake it, and he'd be walking around with his chemo pack on, and he'd be hustling and schlepping and doing things, and people were like, how in the world are you able to do all this and have this amazing energy and literally be on chemo? It was in a bag, like on him right at the time, and he's just like, I'm drinking these shakes. And so all the people that were coming off the tour buses, the tech guys, even some of the talent, the management, they were like, where's the shake guy? We need a shake, we need a shake. And he'd call me up, he's like, babe, he's like, I'm out of shake again, we have to make more. And we'd be making it and mixing it, and he's like, you know what, I think we have a business. And he's like, we need a name. And he said Rockin, and I said wellness, like a big apple. And that was the start of our business. And we incorporated in 2011. We found a manufacturer, and Seth was adamant on making sure that every ingredient that was in the shake was premium, top of the line stuff, no junk, no fillers, nothing cheap, everything that was farmed responsibly, no chemicals, no fertilizers, which is called non-GMO seeds, non-genetically modified, organic farming. And that's how we started doing this. And so ever since then, when, you know, he would go out and start talking about the product, people like yourself would hear these podcasts. We were living on Long Island. He was doing local farmers markets and shows, and he really got engaged with listening to people and understanding about what their needs were and about their health issues, whether it was like a disease or an ailment, or just somebody that wanted to lose weight, or just somebody that just wanted to just be healthy and just, you know, stay ahead of the game. So we really kind of went full force into this. And he wound up passing away in 2018 in December. It actually came on suddenly. The cancer had come back after him being 7 years clean. And you know, he lived for 14 and a half years with stage 4 colon cancer, which the average life expectancy is 5 years maximum. So he almost tripled the life expectancy. And the doctors were honestly always amazed, because he always handled every round of chemo or every surgery that he had. And he just like kind of bounced back. But then, like with anything, he's not, you know, a robot. I mean, things happen, and I still am proud of the journey that he took, because he could have just, you know, just ate junk food and just done whatever and have a woe is me attitude, but he didn't. He was adamant about, up to almost the last thing he could eat was a Rockin Wellness shake, because he was just determined to make that his last meal. And I'm not kidding on that. And his mission in life literally became helping people with the lessons that he's learned. He wasn't a doctor. He didn't go to school for health and nutrition. Everything he learned was from his own research, from talking to people, from engaging, from going and being in parts of groups that were all about health and wellness. And he got involved with a vegan crowd in New York, and they had tons of information, and he was like a sponge. He just absorbed everything. So he would come home and kind of tell me about everything that he learned. And a lot of it stuck in here. And so when he passed, I was, of course, devastated. And I could have just crawled under a rock and just said, I can't do this anymore. But for the sake of my little boy, Nash,
named after Nashville.
Named after Nashville, where Seth and I met.
Right.
I wanted to keep the business alive. So Nash kind of grows up knowing that his dad really made a difference in this world. And he might not be a superstar or like, you know, or a major celebrity, but he is in his son's eyes and in my eyes.
And in a lot of other people's eyes.
And a lot of other people's eyes as well. I know for a fact about how many people like yourself, who have had amazing stories about health and coming back from, you know, the bottom of badness, I guess. I don't know, I can't think of the right word right now, but like, you know, where you're bottom of the barrel of like things that happened to them, whether it was disease, whether it was cancer, or diabetes, or IBS, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I have stories about, can I tell a story?
Sure.
So, I had a woman when we first started. She met Seth in New York, and she lived up in Boston. And she has, well, at the time she had a little boy who was autistic, and her husband left her because he couldn't deal with the autistic son. And she was a single mom, and she was receiving, I guess, not aid from the government, but, you know, like a local charity that was trying to help single moms. And she learned about this product, and she started giving it to her little boy, it was very hard to get him to eat healthy. And he loved making his chocolate shakes and drinking them. And she noticed gradually that his attention and his focus while he was in school or with his tutors, that he was more focused and more attentive, and not as all over the place as a lot of autistic children are when he was taking the shake. And she actually used the funds from this charity in order to help purchase Rockin Wellness for her son. I don't know what happened to him over the years, but that was like one of our very first, so I just got goosebumps telling that. That was one of our very first stories about the effects of the product in such a positive way. And over the years, I've just had a bunch more. I have another client whose son, who is an adult, he has Down syndrome. And
this is my sister.
I know. I didn't want to say
Joey.
anything.
I was gonna bring that up. I was wondering if you were like try to hide that.
I didn't want to say names because
no, that's Joey Green.
But so you can vouch for me. And so Judy used to tell me that she used to have such a hard time getting him to eat. He was overweight. And so she started feeding him the shakes, and he loved them. And he said he lost weight, and he also was more focused and more attentive, and just mentally he had more clarity, and he just felt good. And I mean, from last time I spoke with her in email, she said he was doing great. And that really made me feel good as well. And I know that now he's more of an adult. I don't know. I guess he's in his late 20s now, right?
No, late 30s.
Late 30s already. Okay. So I'm saying, so it's been, you know, almost 11 years that I've been working with Judy. And so that was another amazing story. And
I was going to tell that. So let me tell you a little bit more about Joey. So Joey, and a lot of people say this about Downs, is they're naturally, they have a lot of traits, and it's a missing chromosome. But Joey was always chunky. And Judy says, and I'm going to get in trouble, but I don't really care. It was very difficult to get him to do things. No, she just, you know, typical mom, you give them whatever they'll take, you know, and you know, Joey's already has a challenge. I don't want to give him any more challenge. Joey was, I mean, we went to my oldest brother's funeral. I remember we went down after, I guess, to see my niece down in Florida, because that's back when we were all in Virginia. Now we're Floridians like you became, and Wayne. So we all gravitate to here. So we're driving down, and Joey's sitting next to me. And at the time, I guess he's in his 20s, and he's breathing really heavy. And it's just breaking my heart. But I'm an idiot about health. I don't know what to say or do. And and Judy's got some issues going on that I won't mention about in the car, that if we're ever alone, it's pretty funny. So we get back, and then that's when the Rockin Wellness hit our world, is after that. So, but Joey was determined. He was, to what all we know, was the first one to get his black belt in karate as a dancer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now, ever since Rockin Wellness, and he lost weight, he eats well, he has everything and more that you were talking about. He also can kick my butt in ping pong, which is humiliating on several levels, because I'm a pretty good ping pong player, but he is really good. He works out 6 days a week. They now live in mid north of you and I, up in outside of Daytona, Port Orange. Yeah,
My
north
area.
of
I'm actually in Port Orange right now.
Oh, okay.
So you're in Joey's town. So if you go over to the YMCA right now, you'll see Joey working out at the gym 6 days a week.
I think that's amazing. And he's one of my inspiration stories to keep this business alive and to keep going. And, like, it's just stories that just kind of really make somebody who's an owner of a company feel like, wow, this isn't just a corporation. I'm a small woman-owned business, and I'm proud of that. And I'm family, and I'm all about that. I'm about kids. I feel like I can understand so many different plights of people, whether it was the happily married, or the health ailments, or being a single mom now, or having a child, or elderly parents, which my parents are now. I mean, I feel like I can relate to so many different things. So when my customers call me, I don't just sit and give them like a spiel and like the same exact thing over and over again, even though my story is, I tell it, but it's not like I'm saying it like a robotically. And
Right.
when I ask the questions, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't study this as far as, having a degree. I just know what I know from feedback from others. And I have another customer who's been with me for a gazillion years. He was diagnosed, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago with throat cancer, and it metastasized to his jaw, and he had to have bones removed in his jaw. So literally the man can't chew. He can only drink. And he found Rockin Wellness through a friend. And, again, with cancer, I mean, there's only so much you could do. Some people are so lucky that they are able to nip it and it goes away, and some people it comes back. So after a few years of, I guess, it being in remission, it kind of came back again. And so he called me and he said, Allison, he's like, I'm running out. He's like, you got to get this to me quickly. I'm going through it quicker because now I'm putting it in my feeding tube. So he's drinking it and he's not even tasting it, but he knows what it does for him because he's waiting for another surgery. So hopefully once he has this other surgery, he'll be able to then drink it again. I didn't even know that could be possible. So
I'm so glad you said a very important word.
What is that?
Taste. And this is by no means an advertisement. We have no sponsors to the show. We have a whole big list of bogus sponsors that I post every week. But and you're on our list. But this stuff tastes great, and it hasn't. I only do the chocolate. I know there's a lot of other products, and I want you to talk about them. But this is the one I do. I have it with a vanilla almond milk every morning. So second thing I do every morning when I wake up. We won't talk about the first thing, but it's important. It also keeps me incredibly regular. So
I've been hearing for years too.
I'm 60 years old. If you go back to my original Facebook pictures, I think I look better today than I did then. That's not being vain. That's just, I feel better. This has a huge reason why that is. But the taste,
you understand. Well, yes, taste is unbelievable because taste is what keeps people coming back. And if something tastes yucky, it's like, who wants to drink it regularly? But what happens is that when your cells replicate, if you give it crap, they're going to replicate with crap. And if you give it something amazing, then when that cell dies off, because that's just the way the human body works, and then when it replicates again, you're giving it you're going to get more glowing skin. Your hair is going to grow faster and thicker, like with our new collagen product. It's like amazing. So, like, there's just so many things that like people don't realize, and it's not just external, it's internal as well. Think about the lining of your stomach, that you could basically almost redo all the cells of your stomach within a few months of it becoming brand new, because there's constant cell turnover. So the healthier you eat, the more your cells are going to be stronger, and they're going to replicate, and they're going to just be that much better off. Because people that have sports injuries, I've heard that our protein, people have been taking it, it helps them recover better from workouts, whether it's pre or post workouts, and just people that are just into everyday, like I said, health. I mean, my son
Right.
has been starting his day every day since he's 10 months old with a Rockin Wellness smoothie. 10 months. And
Nice.
still to this day, like I'll say to him on the weekend when, when it's not school and rushing, do you want pancakes? Do you want, like I'm a mom, like I wanted to enjoy his childhood and not just about health, health, health. He's like, no, mommy, I just want my smoothie. He's like, all right, I'll have pancakes too, but I want my
Yeah.
smoothie. And like he asked me for it. So I know that it has to taste good because he's a child and he's not going to drink something if it tastes yuck.
Yeah,
You and
I'm a child too.
I do it because we know it's good for us, but other people, it's all about how it tastes.
I tried some other very famous products before I came on the chocolate rock and roll. Chocolate is the key word here. And I just didn't like it. I knew it was good for me, and sometimes it made me even feel better. But the Rockin Wellness, I mean, it's amazing. I wish there was a way you could look in your bill system and see. Although I first was getting it from Judy, and Judy and I were both buying it in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave a ton to friends, and a lot of friends still do it. That they'll sit there and every once in a while they'll shoot me a note or whatever, or tell me, hey, I'm still doing that stuff that you turned me on to a long time ago, which is it's a good feeling for me. I can imagine what it feels like for you, and it's such a great legacy, and it's also amazing for your son. I mean, that's just
He knows that daddy helps so many people. And when I get reviews, there are unsolicited reviews on our website, and I get emails every time somebody posts one, and it's like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Sometimes it comes up as anonymous. I don't even know who these people are. And they're
right.
saying, this is great, that is great, it helps me with this, it helps me with the energy, it's the only way I start my day. And I'm like, wow. And I know sometimes I show my friends and I'm like, look, I'm like, isn't this really nice? And I get really excited, like a little,
Yeah.
like I'm a little kid or something. But this is such a part of who I am, because this was almost my whole marriage and existence with Seth. Was Rockin Wellness was like the third person in our marriage, in our
Sure.
family. And
It was
I'm
your
carrying
first
on
baby.
with this. It was our first baby. It really
Yeah.
was. And, I'm carrying on with this because I have to. I feel like I feel like this is what I need to do for people like yourself, and then for myself and my son, to just keep Seth's legacy alive,
And
and
for
just to
Joey.
let people know that it's an amazing product. There's a lot of um, copycats out there now that I really believe, have taken our ingredient list and tried to make their own versions and stuff. And I buy them, I sneak and I order them and I taste them, and I'm like, they just don't taste the same. And I've had other people try other products and come back and say, oh, I tried this one, I tried that one, and they come back, because I
Right.
feel like we only have 14 ingredients in, and the way it was originally designed was every ingredient is dosed to get the proper effects of that ingredient. Whereas a lot of companies, and if you read the ingredient and panels, you'll see that they have 52 million ingredients. If there was 52 million ingredients of superfoods, the scoop would be this big,
Right.
right? It's just not possible. So they just do it like, grandma's cooking, where she did a pinch of this and a splash of that, and that's how she made like her secret sauce. It's not, doesn't work like that with superfoods. It's not going to give you that. So a lot of these companies, they just like to make their ingredient panels look fabulous. We have 52 of these and 18 of this, and vegetables and vitamins and fruits. It's just not possible. I mean, take a fruit, smush it down into powder, and it's still going to be this big if it was all in there. So that is, I think, one of the reasons why ours works so well, is because everything is properly dosed. And we haven't changed the recipe since we first incorporated and we trademarked.
If
Everything
you
has
did,
been
I
the
would
same.
tell you.
Yeah.
Turn it back.
The same sourcing, the same manufacturer who understands our quality control and how I like everything to be done. And yeah, I'm just doing my very best, and I'm
So over
enjoying
your
it. I'm
shoulder,
enjoying
there's
it.
products.
And what?
I've only done this product. I know, and there's other products out there that you have. What are they? Can you? I don't want to be like an infomercial.
Oh,
What
no,
what
that's
else do
fine.
you have?
So we have what you drink is our nutrition shake, which is not a protein shake. There's a little bit of protein in there, just that comes naturally from the hemp seeds that are in there, but it's about nutrition, which is why people feel so good from it. So then a couple of years later, Seth realized that people were asking about more protein. So the last product he created before he passed was our protein powder, which is, I have it back there, and it's 14 grams of vegan protein. Vegan is plant-based. And it also has phospholipids, electrolytes, and probiotic and the digestive enzyme. So it kind of adds a little bit of oomph to just a regular oat protein. And it's 14 grams because any more, the scoops again would be like this big, and then it gets like you just can't get it down. It gets very gritty and like chalky, and it's just it's like overkill. So you know what? We're not, looking for like a major protein, like when it comes in those gigantic tubs. This is to add on, and if you add it with the shake, that's what most people do.
So you can have it right with the breakfast shake?
Yes, absolutely. And it tastes great. And I actually put a scoop in my coffee every morning because I'm addicted to coffee. So I get my protein in my coffee, and it just makes it super creamy. That's my personal trick. And then we also have a collagen product. All our products are vegan and plant-based, which means no what they call whey, which is milk-derived products. And the collagen I kind of came out with, I think about, well, not that I kind of came out with, I came out with it about a year and a half ago, April of 22. And in the course of a year, I've had unbelievable results for my own self of having.
That's good for skin, right?
It's great for skin. It's great for, hair and nail growth. And I've had, because I live in Florida now, I know a lot of people that are senior citizens, and a lot of women have issues. And this is something that's really, it can really hurt a woman's psyche. Women are vain, and they always want to look as pretty as they can or do the best with what they can. And as we age and, you lose collagen and volume in your face, a lot of women have thinning hair, and that's like a really big thing. And people get really self-conscious. So I have a woman who's in her mid-70s, and she came to me and she said, Allison, she's like, I don't know what to do with my hair. She's like, I am mortified. She's like, it's breaking off. You can see my scalp. And it was almost like it was like really short little and she was beside herself. I said, listen, I literally just came out with this collagen. I said, I need a guinea pig. I said, will you try it for the next 3 months? I'll give you a good deal. And I said, just try it out and let me know if you start to see like little sprouts. Well, 3 months go by. She tells me her nails are growing like weeds. She's like, now she needs a manicure a lot more than she did. And she's all of a sudden, all these little sprouts are coming out. Fast forward a year and a few months, her hair is like a totally different head. She goes to the hairdresser. She goes to the woman that colors her hair. They're all taking the collagen now. They literally cannot believe the difference between a year ago and now, of the amount of hair and the thickness and the volume that has grown. And I noticed that for myself as well. I'm aging, and I have stress on an everyday level, and my hair was like breaking off, and my hair is like so much thicker now. The quality of it, my skin feels great. I just, and also collagen is great for your bones and internally for your muscles as well. So things that we can't see are also benefited by these products. So we have the protein, the collagen, the nutrition, which also comes in a mocha flavored, which is a little bit of chocolate and coffee combined, which a lot of people love too. And then we have a greens product, which I did a little bit after my husband passed, which is a bunch of spirulina, chlorella, spinach, barley grass, and a few others. Again, minimal ingredients, maximum nutrition. That's our motto. And the green powder tastes great, either mixed in with the smoothies, or I always put it in. I like it in a big shaker cup with ice. And when I go to the gym, I use that. So I get my hydration and my greens. That's how I like to take it. And then we have a mushroom tincture, which we put, it's like a little dropper. You barely don't even taste it. It just has all these great benefits of the mushroom groups and the families. of mushrooms that are super adaptogenics, they call them. And then the last thing that we kind of came up with was a melatonin, because a lot of people have issues going to sleep, and my products have, you know, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of caffeine. They're meant to give you energy and focus and put you in a great mood, but sometimes people need to wind down. So we came out with a melatonin, which is 3 milligrams of a liquid melatonin, which is not as there's not as many out there as there is, you know, like gummies or tablets or so. And it works great. And it's great because it's subcutaneous, where you put it under your tongue and like literally in like 10 minutes, you're like out like a light. So it's a great product too. So we only have a few products, but I'd rather do that than have a gazillion products and not understand each one. And I want each one to be special and to be unique. And maybe I'll come out with something else in another year or so. Right now I'm focusing on these and keeping them out there and letting people understand why Rockin Wellness is different from the competitors, because there's so many different superfood companies out there and vegan shakes, and everything is just overly saturated. But I feel like having the longevity of being around since 2011 and having the reviews and the customer base, such as yourself and your sister, that have been with me for this long and say these things on your own free will, and the people that leave me reviews, I feel like that's what's going to keep us progressing into the future and keep us going.
I love it. I love it. It makes me feel guilty that I haven't tried more of the products, but now I will.
Now you will. Well, you look great. So do you, Wayne.
I'm in my 6th decade, so I have to be more conscious of that stuff. I probably should have been more conscious before, but I've loved what I've done with my Rockin Wellness chocolate shake. And so now I'm you'll see an order probably later today or tomorrow. Now, and we'll bring you back on for some more results. But time has flown. I told you it would fly when we were pre-gaming. You're like, is this going to be okay? And I mean, you killed it. I feel bad for Wayne because we didn't let him talk very much.
Well, Wayne, say something. Ask me a question. Let him get his sense.
Yeah, like Kelly said, we're kind of bumping up against the time, but I'm a health freak, and I'm looking very much forward to ordering your product. And I'll give you a very candid review. I do want to try it, and certainly have my wife involved. But anybody in the wellness space and as a business owner, what you do is hard. You have a passion. You're leaving a legacy. I'm actually very, very, very grateful of what you brought to us as a gift to the world, because you're showing your best, because we all owe the world our best. So that's all I got, because I could talk for hours, but I appreciate you and I'm looking forward to trying your product.
Well, thank you guys so much for thinking of me and asking me to be a part of your podcast. It's a real honor. And I don't really get to do this very often. So the opportunity is greatly appreciated to let people kind of know, the backstory behind Rockin Wellness instead of it just being a website.
Right.
We're gonna do this. I'll put it on the calendar for like 90 days, maybe 60 days or 90 days. We're gonna bring you back on, and we're gonna see how Wayne's doing, or we're gonna see how I'm doing with the new products. And so part of the joke of the show is all our sponsors. We have no sponsors. I've never gotten even a discount from you, and I don't expect one, because I am fine paying for things, because you better believe in Wayne's and my businesses, we charge people, and when they ask for discounts, we say no, because you get what you pay for. And I wouldn't want anything, because I want to keep getting what I get out of the product, and me paying for it. It's been in my budget for over a decade. So we appreciate you having on the show. Our best to Nash. Maybe we can do the next time. You can at least show some pictures of them.
Yes.
But and one other thing.
Yes.
While Seth was going through all this stuff, and you can go online and see pictures of him, this guy was a stud. I mean, nobody in a million years would have guessed that he had been experiencing cancer in his past or currently in those pictures. And in the end, it took him. But wow, this guy was he was like the Muhammad Ali of cancer fighting. So
he was a handsome dude. I have to say that he was.
I like women, but I'm telling you,
he was the nicest guy, total Southern gentleman. He was the sweetest, most unassuming man. He was just a doll. So
Yeah. I'm now, it's a pleasure to meet you on another level now. So, yeah, and we
thank you
for your
guys so
time,
much.
Wayne. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
please, next time we do this, so could you clean up your kitchen? It's a little messy.
Okay, I'll try.
Thanks, Allison.
Thanks,
All
everybody.
righty.
Have a great day.
Bye guys. Rock on.
I got it.